This is just a preview of our post show that we offer on Apple Podcasts. Married to the Devil by Lillian Lark. It is. I can't pull it up now. I think it's on KU. I'm not sure. But yeah,
That's okay.
Married to the Devil, Lillian Lark. It is a menage a trois.
Okay, nice.
I'm gonna start using that when it's only a throuple. Like,
I like that.
let's stop using.
It's prettier.
It's not a harem read. If there's only three people, that's a menage a trois. Okay.
Yep.
Let's use correct terminology, and I appreciate you saying contemporary instead of modern. You were tickling.
Modern's only for art, right?
No, modern is an actual era.
Architecture. Oh yeah, you're right. It's an era. You're right. Okay.
There's the modern era, which ended in like the 50s or the 60s. So like anything today is contemporary. It's not modern. Yes. It's technically postmodern. So, yeah. Take that, libs. Okay. So the discussion, I've been thinking about this. Okay, I've been thinking about this since I started doing the shorts, which I know you don't have time, but I think you would love. It's a very quick little thing. I think you would be really good at making short episodes too. The reason that I hate first person so much, I finally got my reasoning down, okay? And I did think about it. It's taken me a while. I know you're like, what is your reason? Oh, I have it for you, okay?
Okay. Lay it on me.
And honestly, like, you posted something in Discord about what's wrong with contemporary smut. What's wrong with book talk and smut and stuff like that. Which I was...
It's so good. It's a good video.
I was listening to it while I was cleaning yesterday, and my husband was with me. He's like, what the hell? What are you doing now? Like, what is this about now? And I was like, oh, it's just commentary on contemporary literature and shit. So, my issue with first person is... And I started really thinking about it because I was listening to that content creator talk about Twilight and how Twilight, Stephanie Myers has just blatantly come out and said that this is a self-fantasy. She is self-imposed. These characters are not original characters. These are people in her... Like, this is her inserting herself into a fantasy.
Yes.
That's why I fucking hate first person. Because I am reading someone else's fantasy. This is not for me. This is for someone else. If I'm supposed to put myself in the position of the character, first of all, there wouldn't be so many fucking fourth wall breaks like a goddamn Deadpool movie. Which every single one of... I hate that. It's so irritating.
It's very irritating. I hate it. I hate it in literature. I think unless it's... If I'm reading a comic book... It's fine.
It's not. No, it
has no place in smut or.
It shouldn't be in long form literature. That's what I'm calling it now. Is long form literature. An article is short form. Comic book is short form. I can't fucking speak. I'm sorry. I'm cursing a lot more because we're in the paid area. So suck it. But yeah, that's why I hate first person. I am now being inserted into someone else's fantasy. It's not my fantasy. If it were, then it would be written in second person. You like it would then become a choose your own adventure type thing. You know, have you ever read those where it's like you stumbled this way and like
I love those. Yes.
No, that's not how this is written.
No.
I don't need to... And here's another gripe about it. If I am reading from the perspective of the character, how does the character have all this insight into all the other fucking characters that they're dealing with? They don't. They shouldn't. That's not how perspective and perception works.
No.
This is how I know I'm neurodivergent. Okay.
So, yeah, it bothers you more than it bothers...
Yeah.
But I think you've read a lot more than I have.
But you see my point, right? Like,
I do get your point. I get your point 100%. If you can't relate or you can't insert yourself into the character.
And I don't necessarily want to do fantasy.
That. Yeah. Like, you don't have to do that each time.
But that's how it's written.
But they are forcing you to, and you don't want that.
Right.
Got it. I think it's the forcing that's the problem for you.
Well, I mean, and all the other things that are filtered into that. Like, it's just like logically, okay, I love my husband. I think I know my husband better than anybody else knows him, including your fucking husband. Okay? And that's saying something because they're almost practically the same guy. However, there is no way that I should be able to be in a situation and know exactly what he's thinking because of how the emotions are playing across his face. Like, I usually know when my husband's angry. Because, like, his face gets all scrunchy and then his beard gets all bushy. It's like a cat, you know, like the ridge on the back. Like, his beard just kind of tucks up.
Fluffs out.
And fluffs out. Like Dr. Robotic in the Sonic cartoon from, like, the 90s. You know, like, you get all bristly and stuff. That's my husband. You know? But that doesn't mean I know why he's fucking angry. Usually I don't. So I'm standing there going, why are you upset? Why are you angry? And I'm bothering him, which is making him more angry. I recognize that. But I need to know why he's angry. In these stories, how the fuck does this person know what the other people are being angry or upset or whatever about every single fucking time?
They don't.
Exactly. So why are they being written that way? That is what is irritating to me. I am not, like, I'd rather read in third person and have it play out like a fucking movie.
Yes.
Okay. Than read in first person
and knowing there's no nuance.
No, there's no mystery to anything because this bitch fucking knows everything. She can read everybody's mind.
Yeah, I see that. And that's something I don't think about, but there's a lot of books out there like that. There's so many. And I think the problem that you're facing is it's easier.
I know, it's fucking lazy.
It's
lazy.
Well, yeah, I guess it's lazy, but if you are forced to pump out these books pretty quickly, you gotta cut some corners. Depends on who you are, I guess.
Take a fucking writing class
that pump out pretty quickly, and they're because
I mean, I only took one writing class in college. Okay, I took more English classes than I did writing classes, but I did take a writing class in college. These are things that a good writing teacher will point out to you. Okay. That can only help you become a better writer. Like, if you want people to come back for it, like, there's a reason that people fall off halfway through a series of 7 fucking books because it's just rinse and repeat every single fucking time. Like, there are techniques and there's skills to be gained for anything that you do. Why wouldn't you want to make yourself better? It only adds value to whatever it is you're creating. I'm not trying to yuck people's yum. Like, if you want to write, but at least get a fucking editor before you decide to publish it and try to sell it to people. Stop giving me drivel.
I think that's the problem. I think there's the lack of editing is the issue.
Well, but the people that are claiming to be editors too aren't. They're just readers who are like, oh, I could help. I've read a lot. I could help. You don't know how to wield a red pen, and you don't know how to give comments on what's going on. You're not able to see through it. You just want to read fucking stories, which there's no problem with that. I just want to read fucking stories. I told my therapist if I could make money reading stories, I would. That's how we got onto this podcast, to be absolutely fucking frank. But that there is a difference between being an editor, a proofreader, and a reader. And a lot of these people are just readers. They're able to point out some plot holes sometimes, but I mean, how often do we get do we run into, oh, it was great until this giant fucking plot hole showed up. Like grandma
Yeah.
running down the street and he just happens to find her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a huge. I mean, I know it's a plot device, but that plot device is a fucking sinkhole.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that is my problem with first person. Now you know why Doc stars on it. Is because this is not how it doesn't actually help the story, and more often than not I think it takes away from the story. So when I say it was first person, I'm taking a star off, it's because there's a whole bunch of little fucking things in there that contributed to it. And as soon as I see a first person story, or start reading a first person story, I basically start ticking every single time I see one of those things because I know they're fucking coming.
Yep.
It's unavoidable when they do first person.
Yeah.
And because this is the paid post show, like, I doubt any author is actually going to hear my griping about it. Although,
but I'm sure,
I have thought about...
they've heard it before, though. I feel like that's like the number one complaint that people have.
I don't see complaints about first person. Every time I bring up first person, like in any of these Facebook groups or anything like that,
yeah,
everybody's like, I like it. It makes me feel like I can put myself in the story. I'm like, how? Are we reading the same fucking thing?
Because your mind works differently than other people, I think.
Well, yes, that's my perspective. That's my, that's how I'm perceived. Like, yes, there are probably 10 different ways that I would handle a situation differently than the person in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't need to have it in first person to get that across.
No, you don't.
In fact, it would be better if it were in third person, because then I'm not trying to insert myself into that.
Right.
That's my point. You know what? I think I'm going to make this episode a free episode as a preview on why people should do Apple Podcasts or join our Discord, because you get access. I give you a link to these episodes for free if you are, well, I guess it's not for free, but if you are a paid Discord member, then you get these episodes for free. I send you a link onto our drive where they're all stored, and you can listen to them from there. So, all right. Do you have anything to add on this first person? I'm sorry, it was just like a fucking rant.
You needed to get it out, and I've always been curious about why. And I understand now. I'm glad that we've talked about it, because I do understand what you're saying. I don't know if I relate to it that much, but I get it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I get the frustration, especially if you see it in every 90% of the stories that you read.
98% of the stories I read are in first fucking person at this point. Yeah, it's so irritating. And that's why I get so excited. I'm like, oh, it's in third person. Yes. Yeah. Because I would say not even 98. I'd say 99.9%. Mm-hmm. I think there were 4 books last year that we read that were in third person. Out of 275 that I read, 4 of them I think were in third person point of view.
I feel like since I read so less compared to you, little compared to you, mm-hmm. I think what you have curated for our podcast, I've probably read a little bit more mm-hmm. in third person as far as the percentage wise of the books that I've read. Mm-hmm. But so I don't have the same perspective as you, because you are so oversaturated with it. That's and true. I get that. I get that frustration. It's kind of, I think you're frustrated because you view it as an insult to the reader that they can't make up their own mind. And I think
that's some good insight. I like that.
Yeah. So, and I would get frustrated with that too. That you're just like, okay, why are you telling me how to read the situation, mm-hmm. how this person is reading? If it's supposed to be a self-insert, mm-hmm. then why are they reacting it to things the way that they are? And when it's so blatantly not that?
Yeah.
Or how do you know that this person knows why the other person is angry or knows every single little bit about every single situation?
Mm-hmm.
That's frustrating.
I think that's also why a lot of these first persons end up being the one. We always talk
Mm-hmm.
about, oh, it's a the one situation. Because,
Yep.
yes, every girl wants to feel special.
Yes.
I want to feel special all the time. But you know what? That's what my husband is for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need somebody's self inserted fantasy to feel special. And if
Mm-hmm.
that's how you have to feel special is becoming this all god powerful at the end of 3 books, you are a fucking god, then there's some other things we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Not just your horrible writing style, you
That's
know.
how that's 100% valid. um, I don't know. You are also different because you eat through so many of these books that are very similar. I feel like a lot of these authors are pumping out these books because they're like, oh, maybe this will be the only book that this person reads in a year or so. And they're like, oh,
Mm.
wow, this is the most amazing thing I've ever read. It's like, as a, you, as a reader, as an avid reader, are like, okay, you want some that, but a million times better? Like,
Mhm.
here you go.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it does feel like everybody's trying, and I don't know if this is true. Like the historically, we're going to put my historical hat on.
mhm,
Historically, the hive conscious idea is not a new thing. Okay?
mhm,
Like throughout history we have had blips where people have discovered the same thing about the same time or invented the same thing at the same time. It could be that all of these people, we'll say people because they're not all women, they're not all men, are writing a story that they have an independent thought have come up with on their own, and they all just seem to be publishing around the same time,
mhm.
and only one or two of them get big. That
Yep.
is possible. Okay, it could be that everybody, it could also be, this could be another theory, an adjacent one, that somebody read something, one of the
Mhm,
popular ones, and decided they were going to invent a better mousetrap and
mhm,
rewrite it and maybe insert there. And it's just exponentially gone on. Okay, oh, I could do that better. Let's take elements of this and make it better over here. Oh, I could do that one, and so on
mhm.
and ad nauseum. Both of those are legitimate. We are at the point where everything feels like a copy of.
Yep.
Okay. And it's very hard to get away from that because that is what's selling. So everybody's going to try and do their own spin on it.
They are.
Unfortunately, even the most popular will go back to the dreaded fucking ACOTAR. Did you see the article I posted in the Discord?
Mm-mm.
You should go and look in the
I
Discord.
will. I
Yeah.
will.
Even fucking ACOTAR is a goddamn copy of Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle,
Mhm.
and I think there's another one and I can't think of it. Cinderella, maybe?
It's got Cinderella elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All same, like, these are all stories that were at one point original that has become an amalgamation for this fucked up, like, popularized, fan crazy thing.
Mhm.
And I know when we started reading ACOTAR, then one of the first things I said to you, maybe not during the episode, but during my reading, was I have read this story from somewhere else before. It's
Yep.
almost the exact same thing. And it was only published a couple of years ago, whereas ACOTAR was written almost 15.
Mhm.
Like I've read this already. Same thing. Same thing. So, I
Mhm.
mean, the quantity of books that I have read, I that's why I try to open up, like, you pick a book, I'll pick a book. Why I'm
Mhm.
trying to get the co-host pool together so that we can branch out, because I am tired of reading the same freaking things. If somebody else can recommend a book that I haven't read, I'm over the moon. So that's why I'm actually really excited about Poisoner.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't heard about this one. It hadn't come up on anything, so I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Yes.
All right, so closing out this post show. Thank you so much again for letting me rant.
Of course.
I'm so freaking
you
tired.
Needed it.
I've been holding on to it for like the whole entire month. Like I seriously started thinking about it when I started posting that content creator about Twilight. Because I think the first thing I posted was, this is a Stephanie Meyer self-insert. She said that. So I was like, holy shit. Because I feel like Twilight really made popular the first point of view.
They did.
So.
Well, I think it started before that with a lot of YA. But Twilight really brought
is a YA.
YA.
Yes.
Romance.
Yeah. Mormon coded.
Very. Extremely.
Anyhow. Thank you guys for joining us on the post show. We post these post shows after every book discussion. They're only available on Apple Podcasts to our paid subscribers and to our paid members on the Discord. If you'd like to join our co-host pool, we'd love to have you. Add in some new voices, add in some new books, because as you guys can see, we're reading the same things as just discussed. We'd love some new blood. Cass,
yes,
I love you.
Oh, I love you too, girl.
Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you for spending some time talking with me. And thank you guys for joining us. Remember, life is too short for vanilla. Enjoy some smut.
Bye.
And get the post show available only on Apple Podcasts.